The following video tutorial has been inspired by the question, how do we prevent students from selecting, copying, or pasting text during a Blackboard online test? So, generally, when students enter the test, they have the option of looking at a particular question, or rather, not have the option, but they can look at the question and then if they think that they can find the answer to that question, they can highlight that question in the test um, and then select the text. Okay, this is a bit slower, but they can highlight the text and then select that text by copying it and go to another tab or browser and then look for that. And then once they have found a particular answer, they can, if the answer is like this, for instance, they can copy paste A, control V, whatever the case might be. If it's a bigger block, they can do that the same. Okay, so there are various levels of setting or editing a test. So I'm just going to leave that test. So the one way of changing that is to either edit the option or we edit the test. If we want to edit the test, the option is when obviously you want to set the duration of the test and other parameters for that test. But when it comes to editing the test and what students see during the test is firstly it would be the question itself, but over here we can also click on edit. After we've edited the test, we can click on another edit there, and this will allow you to edit instructions, put in instructions in your test, and then of course the description of the test. But on the instruction here is we can give instruction like, for instance, please answer all tests or all questions. But you can also add code or script in here, right? And the way to do this is if we click on this source code button there, it takes us to the source code and we can add any code in there. Now I have a particular script here, which I'll just copy and paste in there, and I'll demonstrate and just say what that basically means. So there is a function being called when on copy or on paste or on selecting or on even text menu, and all these are set to false. Okay, set to false, set to false, and set to false. Okay, so this script will also run along with the entire test. Okay, so the result of that would be, so if we click on, so I'm going to okay, so now this time when the students now click on the exam, we're loading the exam. Then the student click on begin. And now this time around, we can attempt to select anything. So I'm trying to select or right click even. It doesn't allow me to right click or highlight anything. Or even paste anything in there. Okay, so I can right click or try to control V or even to try to control copy, but nothing of that will happen. And that is simply because of this code here that tells us that the JavaScript that is running along with inside the test. Okay, so that we only do once in the instruction part of this test, and that will set the entire test to be or disabled from being copied, text rather from being copied or pasted within this particular for that test. Okay, for any other test that you do that for. Okay. So that there is just a quick guide as to how do we go about preventing students from selecting, copying or pasting text during a Blackboard online test. So just to recap this particular section, we go to our Blackboard test. We right click on the Blackboard test, click on edit the test. We then also click on edit test over here while that is loading. That takes us to our instructions and description and instructions. Inside the instruction area, we click on the code, the source code. It takes us through the source code window where we copy this code. Uh, Test. Right. So when we save that, we now show that when students come in there, they will not be able to copy, select, copy, or paste the text.